And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is playoff number 3 of the Gameathlon Road to Athens here in the top of the map. A favorite to make it to Athens. Most people probably a little bit surprised that he hasn't qualified already. This is one of the most consistent top 3 finishes in recent Age of Mythology history. Top 3 should mean that he is already qualified, because we've already seen 5 players that have qualified. Is today Mosca's chance? Will he be able to perform here? That's the big question. His opponent today, one of the GOATs of AOM, hasn't been playing a huge amount of tournaments recently, but he's back and he's been training, and to be honest, he is in fine form. From what everyone tells me, Magic here has been winning a lot of his practice games. He's been having a lot of success. He knows what he wants to play. He knows how he wants to play. And if Magic gets to play his own game, he's going to have a lot of success. And here's the thing. The clash of styles between these two players, there's nothing in it. They love playing the same way. But does Mosca have that ability to take Magic out where he's the strongest? For those of you who don't know, Magic was arguably the best deathmatch player in Age of Mythology history. Little known fact is deathmatch isn't the most competitive or the most popular of game modes in Age of Mythology, but he was one of the best, if not the best. So if this does go late game, well, you're playing right into Magic's strength. Relics have already been claimed as Magic picks up Tarawara Potter's last arrow. Important to take this one away because this can push those almighty, super duper strong, uncounterable Dark Slingers from 0.5 divine damage up to 0.7 divine damage. So nice pick there from Magic. It's also going to make his Terma a little bit stronger, his Caraballister a little bit stronger, and his Arcus a little bit stronger. Mayahuel's Magay up onto the top here as well. That one looks like it's going to be getting taken as well. Always nice. And we'll see how this game is going to go, because this map, to be completely honest, I don't know if I would pick Uranus on this map in tournament very often. Set has to feel pretty good here. If Magic doesn't know how to play this matchup, it can get really, really tricky really, really fast. Military barracks coming up for Magic, ×2. Why do I say it can get tricky really, really fast? Well, you basically need to make sure you get up to C tier, and you need to make sure that you haven't given away complete map control to the set either. Otherwise, you get gold starved. Visions non-stop are going to be able to shut down the Sky Passage, Obelisk everywhere. The tried and true style of the Mister still lives on with Egyptian to this day, and it's a perfect map for that style, as Mosca is going to place all of his houses up to the top, looking to lock this position off. And we will see the bite of the shark coming through for Magic, as mana's coming down, counter barracks coming in, and Magic smartly comes forward to start eating his secondary hunt here. This is something I bring up quite a bit in the Norse versus Egyptian matchup, but there really isn't a gigantic weakness super early on here against Egyptian. If you sit back and you just jump onto chickens, you jump onto berries, then, well, your opponent is getting value without putting any pressure onto the map. So Magic already out here, and he is sitting forward. He's getting that scout in, making sure that he sees everything. Axemen are coming out very, very quickly here as Magic, well, he is going to be going into Caraballister at the moment. Now, the most important thing here when playing as Uranus with Caraballister at the helm is to ensure that you are using Sky Passages. Unlike Gaia, unlike Kronos, the Caraballister can only garrison into a sky passage. And being able to garrison micro a Caraballoster is an insane survivability boost and all that other good stuff. As Magic coming through, looking for a little bit of damage here. The Axemen do shoo him away as the Obelisk spammage is now going to start. We do see this these slingers coming through, as well as Scalloped Axe to boost up these Axemen. But to be honest, this is actually what you want here as the Uranus. You want to see Axemen, you want to see Slinger, because then you get full value out of things like Chaos, Satyrs. They're low HP, low Pierce Armor. Of course, the Slinger does have somewhat decent Pierce Armor, but it's such low HP that it almost doesn't matter. But we'll see which way Magic wants to play here, as he is looking for a little bit of pressure. He doesn't want to take a fight just yet. Of course, he does have the Shockwave and the Carnivora. If you drop those down, though, Mosca might just say, all right, time to Shifting Sands away here. More Citizen popping out. Caraballoster slowly coming through, and Mosca pre-queues out the segment. You obviously don't want to get stuck in this classical age, but the pre-queue of the segment is just a little ways away. Still has a little bit of food, a little bit of gold to come through. Magic also slowly building units up, and he does sneak up to the top position here with this Sky Passage. There's an Obelisk coming in, so it's going to be spotted, but Magic doesn't need to do anything here. Especially with Mosca not really spamming units out super hard. Also, Sky Passage on the left side, as the blue units, well, they're starting to take the map control. They're starting to get all of that vision. Magic has basically claimed what he needs to get a heroic age off, and he will be getting himself to Hyperion, and he will be in a good position to actually fight this Mosca army. Meanwhile, here comes the medium slingers. Also comes the copper weapons. This is slowing down the heroic age of Mosca. As the priest comes through, we'll see these villagers over here. This priest will see these villagers over here. How do you deal with both? You can't split up and kill the left one and the right one at the same time, because the units pop through and they kill you. And now we're seeing Thea from Magic. This is not the stock standard approach here. I saw this from Garneth as well versus B, when B was playing Ra. Slightly different matchup, but a similar concept. He's going Thea. No Hyperion, no Chaos, no Satyr. I can't say I'm a huge fan of this. I cannot say I'm a huge fan of this. But he will have himself a really nice transition into Contarius. And Contarius are going to be incredibly powerful versus this specific army as well. Though I have to imagine that Mosca, as soon as he sees Thea, he is simply put just going to start spamming out Spearmen. Murmillos looking for the value as they come in onto this hunt. We do see Mosca making his way into the middle of the map here, as the Murmillos do have to clean up the obelisk. They are alerting Mosca to the possible presence of a Murmillo raid over onto this gold mine. But of course, Magic doesn't know that this is here, so he's not going to be able to go and hit that just yet. And in comes the Thea, in comes the Poseidon's Secret, Heavy Cavalry, and Lance of Stone. So it's incredibly clear what Magic wants here, as the gold mine slowly starting to get taken out. We do see that Magic is trying to get himself the gold over onto the left side. Sky Passage coming over onto here as well. The Obelisk will spot this. This is going to allow Magic yet again to have two potential positions to grab. So if Mosca wants to put pressure on and try and take out a Sky Passage on the left, well, then the units move over onto the right, and so on and so forth. Though we do see Magic actually pulling back from that side. A little bit interesting. I would have liked to see him just throw the Sky Passage up, but nonetheless, now the Contarius are on the way, and we do see, of course, Leather Frame Shield, Spearmen, and all the other good stuff. As the one sort of important thing to remember here, inside of this Thea approach, from what I learned from the Garneth versus B situation, was don't go too soon with the heavy Contarius. Don't take the fight too soon. Why? Well, you're just going to lose it. But if you get to full pop, bit of a different story. And at the moment, population is quite close. Spearman coming in. Now, of course, with some really good Caraballas to control as well, and obviously the Contarius and everything else, this is going to be a tough fight for both players to actually control. As we do see Slings of the Sun, Spearman also on the way, Contarius just shutting down the vision, and you can see that a once fully controlled map is controlled no more, as the Contarius looking for any little bits of information, sees the Spearman. And coming around onto this side, as we also got ballistics to come through from Magic, does increase the effectiveness of those Caraballister considerably. But so far, a very, very calm, collected, composed game. Neither player really wanting to take a fight. Mosca looking... I mean, there is a play with the Shifting Sands Scarab attack, but I don't know. I don't even think that Mosca is going to be hitting full population here. Magic says it is time to take the fight. This is a little bit preemptive, if you ask me, but with the Shockwave onto the backside and the Caraballister to take that front line out, those Caraballister are getting a lot of value, though the Slingers now are taking them down. Magic goes for the micro himself as that front line is melting. It's looking like there's a slight advantage for Magic here, but the units hitting the Scarab, that's not what you want. All the Caraballister fall, and Magic needs to pull back. A close fight, but a one fight from Mosca, you have to say, because that was double God power was utilized. Now Mosca can look for Shifting Sands plays. He's got the vision and the healing here as well. And Magic will pull back. More Caraballister on the way. Now, if you take a look at the actual range here, it's 18 range for the Slingers. Funnily enough, that Shockwave that Magic put down there sent the Slingers closer to the Caraballister and allowed Mosca to actually take them out. If he actually sent them further back with the Shockwave, he probably would have had a better fight there. Nonetheless, Magic is going to be hunting villagers right now. He's got the speed advantage. 6.3 here as he charges through the villagers over onto this left side. They've got a bail. Really, really nice amount of pressure. I don't know if Magic is going to get a whole lot of value here. He might get a pick, but any type of idle time is always good. And the Magic population is slowly starting to pick up as a town center will be the option over onto the left side. Sky Passage getting targeted down. That's so risky to have such a few amount of units to attack that, because you can just pop through the Sky Passage and be fine here and actually pick those units off incredibly quickly. Spearman coming in to hit this position. Behind this, we do see a Horus on the way as the Contarius now in, and those Spearmen are going to be taken out. So this Horus is incredibly risky from Mosca, but he's looking to be... I don't even know if he's actually going for it or if he's going to keep pumping units. Magic on 2 TCs, trying to get a full army out. The thing is, if, and it's a big if Mosca can get the Mythic Age off and Magic keeps spamming, well, that's advantage Mosca, because he's going to be able to kill off that army with relative ease. As in comes the units into the Sky Passage, the Spearman over here will get dove onto. Caraballister's in. Lots of picks. This is a dangerous move from Mosca. He loses a lot of units there. Contarius finish off the Spearman on that bottom side as well. And this town center from Magic, I mean, he does not want to invest in it. He doesn't even, I don't think he even wants the town center, so to speak. He just wants it, but with a very, very, the least amount of resources spent, which is one villager building it, by the way. If you only put one villager on a town center, you save a lot of resources in gather time. But of course, the town center comes up later. And I don't think that Magic even cares about the citizens. He just wants a full population army and probably some destroyers. As now, in comes the Horus. And this is incredibly scary if you are Magic. One very, very good counter here would be to be rushing for Helios. Once the tornado comes down, you simply Vortex away as the Contarius coming in looking for A handful of raids, great control from Mosca, and Magic very smartly says, no, I don't want to trade HP or Kontaris for potential villager kills here. Keep everything alive. Does he have destroyers out? Yes, he does. Sticking it out in this heroic age. He absolutely needs to put the pressure on. Ever since early Retold, Horus has been an incredible tool versus the Atlanteans. As in comes the units, there goes that shockwave, trying to pick off as much stuff as he possibly can. There's only a handful of these ranged units as well, so the potential for that tornado to get mass damage done, it's not that much. That being said, one other counter to the Mythic Age timings and things like that is to just go 3 town centers, get a big amount of resources. The Caraballas are attacking villages, unfortunately, over there. Priest going after the Stymphalian Bird. Good micro from Magic there as well, as the army charging in onto this position, trying to get as much value as they possibly can. Horus is about to hit here as the villagers will be pulling back. Magic gets a big win on the fight, but he does need to retreat. And there goes the vision. In comes the Horus. There goes the tornado. Magic splits, but he loses a ton of units here. But he does manage to get out. He needs to get himself out of Caladria and start looking to heal everything. Behind this, one saving grace for Magic is there's only 37 favor in the bank, which does mean only one of these incredibly powerful Horus upgrades will be coming through. Up onto the top side, Palace coming in from Magic. And Mosca, he is looking to charge for. We do have one Caladria in to heal up these very low HP units. But Magic's got a Palace. He's kind of okay. He does need to make heroes to deal with the Avenger. That's going to tear up this army. Of course, it's not super hard to build them, but he needs to spend everything on military for the time being. This Palace, just a handful of seconds remaining on that one as he will be pulling his units back. Not making a hero here, actually, as he says, I can just kill off that Avenger. Nice ghost building there as well. With the Stymphalian Bird, actually, he doesn't even need a hero, as a big amount of damage will come through from that Avenger. That's over 1,000 damage from that Avenger there. Siege works up now. It's 82 villagers to 58, though. Up onto this position, though, Mosca is hitting a raid, as the citizens will pull through. They can pop over onto this gold mine. No problems. Magic looking to make a push up onto the top side. Remember, there is still Mythic Age power spike for Magic remaining here as the Stymphalian Bird comes in. A little bit of damage onto these units. And Magic looking for so much pressure at the moment. I feel like he should be just enjoying his upgrades. He's going after the town center. Axeman coming through there as the units get pulled back. This is not the best of fights for Magic, but he is getting a lot of damage onto the backside. There goes the Pharaoh getting taken down. Town center, 400 HP remaining. Shockwave does get dropped. Magic will be able to take out the town center, but Mosca wins the fight super hard here. And this will allow Magic to keep that villager lead going for just a little bit longer. But this also means now, well, Magic is stuck in this heroic age for even longer. Mosca has the town center on the left side as well. Well, it's not that big of a... It's really not that big of an advantage for Magic at the moment. Magic as well having some issues on the gold income as the Dryads will be coming through. Hesperid's trees slowly making their way in as well as the Alice slowly dissipating. Another Sky Passage up onto this position just for the safety's sake. You can pull up onto the gold mine, mine that all out. Still kind of close. Remember, if this army falls, which you possibly can do with the right unit comp here. Well, Mosca falls behind in a big way. He's trying to push forward slowly with the catapult, looking for raids into the main base. One villager gets taken out. Of course, the units can pop through this sky passage and defend as the citizens will garrison. A couple of dryads are in, and they heal up underneath the Hesperid's trees too as well. So not the best of fights to take there as the palace goes down and Magic needs to pull back ever so slightly. Now we have champion spearmen coming through. We have bronze weapons coming through. All the upgrades are in with the exception of the axeman. I already said it once, but this is one of the more scary times to be alive here versus Set. When Set has Horus and you don't have any AoE damage dealing myth units like the Satyr, it's very, very tough to take out this army. But Magic says it is time to go again. Carnivora will get dropped down. Units here need to be focus firing onto the slingers at the back there. Dryad's going to be doing a lot here to tank up as those priests, they need to work really hard to take down all the Dryads. Shift the shoot and scoop micro from Mosca looking very, very good. No shockwave for just a little bit longer as the army from Magic looks to be actually taking the win on this fight ever so slightly. As Mosca is in full shoot and scoot mode. 180 pop to 180 pop though. As I don't know if he can continue to chase this forward. There goes the Shockwave, though. That's a 50 favor costing Shockwave. And Magic's only got 3 Oracles behind him for the moment. Priest taking out the Stymphalian Bird. Good micro yet again from Magic to keep that all alive as the Contarius trying to get onto that back line. Destroyers will tank forever versus these Spearmen versus these Slingers, but the Axemen do take them out very, very quickly. Ladria gets taken down there from the Priest as well. More units to come through. Contarius, Murmillo. Mosca is struggling a little bit on the resource. He's got plenty of wood, plenty of food income, but the gold situation is a little bit on the low side. He just bought 7 priests as the pressure just continues to come through from Magic. Over onto this side, we see villagers coming in, going to be trying to take something else on the front here as the Stymphalian Bird goes down. Magic needs to pull back, and Mosca has held him at bay for the time being. And the big issue for Magic right now is how does he get through the Spearman with his Super Contarius to take out those Slingers? Of course, the Shockwave is an option, but it's so expensive at the moment. The better option here, with no doubt in my mind, would be utilize the speed of the Contarius. This is the big weakness of these Spearmen. It's not even that big of a weakness. They're moving at 5.8 speed. Use the speed of the Contarius, get the units out of position, then take that big fight, just like he's going for right now. Heavy Archers on the way. Magic cannot take the fight over here. Those Spearmen will clean everything as the Destroyers come through yet again to try and take out this town center. Mosca's grabbing the town center on the left, however. There's a lot of priests are now in. You've got to be careful with the Dryads. Don't want to send them in to start tanking the priest. They are just as valuable as a Stymphalian Bird in terms of where you want to position them, and they will die very quickly to this amount of priest. The Destroyers will, however, manage to take out the town center, but after this, Mosca remains with an incredible advantage in this game. Town center on the left from Mosca. Contarius right into the main base. Helios now finally coming through. Another option here for Magic is to get the Hecagigantes out. They're expensive though. You need to get a lot of oracles. There's a lot of priests here you need to trim down as well. But if you build this amount of priests, that's a lot, and there's no myth units in the army, well, all of a sudden, the next push from Magic is going to be really, really strong. Catapult, sieging down the palace here. Mosca, he's now ready to start getting these walls up as the citizen. Big sneak here, but Mosca does notice it. Anytime you get off one cheeky sneak with the citizen, you can get the sky passage set up. Always is brutal. But Mosca very much on top of things here. Now the champion axeman is coming in. Now the fortified town centers is coming through, and this is going to be a near insurmountable task for Magic to beat an army that is going to be 260 population. Is that how much it is? 245, 260? I think it might be 270 population. Magic does make a big push over onto this left side. Villagers over here, they can abandon. They can come onto this sky passage, grab this gold mine. Destroyers take down the town center here very quickly, even with fortified town centers. Takes them down very, very quickly. But Mosca surely has... Well, he's only got 3 axemen. If he had a bunch more axemen, he'd be able to take the buildings down a lot faster. He's got himself the bonus versus buildings here, as the sky passage does end up falling. Spearman charging it onto this spot as Magic dropping citizens very, very quickly up onto the top position. Trying to take the villagers out here. Nice find, preventing the Migdol stronghold from coming up, as Magic now says, time for another town center. That is one big win to get that back in, as in comes onto the backside now, the Vortex to take out the back town center. There is a shifting sands here, however, for Mosca if he wants to use it. But he can just take the town center out first and potentially get over there. I don't think he's going to win on that trade there. Maybe he does win. It's close, but doesn't really matter. Some citizens getting cleaned up underneath the town center, as well as the Spearmen wrecking havoc over here. But the same too is true for Mosca. 88 villagers to 82. Another villager going down, as these villagers very angry at being disturbed. Hecagigantes in queue for the time being, but he has to deal with those priests first and foremost. Palace going down left, right, and center. Villagers over here. Both players going to be sharing the gold mine for just a little bit, as this fortress will go down. Gold mine situation here, however. 1, 2, 3 on this side. 4 on this side. Not really a whole lot on this side, as the villagers going after this side. Do see the Centamanus sacrificing its life here, as in comes the Vortex from Magic. Can he win this or not? In comes the shifting sands, as the Spearmen will be on top of these units. There's so many Archers here. Dryads getting a lot of value as the priests get sent packing. Destroyers doing everything they possibly can to tank up versus those slingers. Mosca trying to shoot and scoot forward. That Cairo Ballista is doing God's work for Magic right now, as Mosca, he is getting gold starved. He's got no gold remaining. The Destroyer is going after the Migdol stronghold somehow, some way. Magic is making this work here with pure chaos. He's got full map control with the sky passages on the left. Another sky passage over onto this side, as well as the villagers for Mosca coming back into the middle towns, and a Destroyer is going to clean up this Migdol. Magic needs to be careful here. He does not need to overcommit here. He's losing population. He just needs to hold the gold mine situation, but he doesn't know that. Mosca is now at 0 gold. He can sell for a little bit. He doesn't have a market set up. Well, he's got 3 markets, excuse me, but no trade route set up here. Over onto this left side will come the raids. There will be another Vortex available for Magic, but he just threw away his army going after the kill here, when he should have just taken the small lead and continued to hold the gold mines. Migdol stronghold for Mosca will stand here, as now the priest numbers are back to not so many. You can go back into those myth units now. There's a lot of favor in the bank. Magic has lost a lot of military buildings as well, as some random Spearman raids will cause some issues. Contarius on the back will end up going down from the Shanky Shanks. It's the town center on this side about to come back up. Another vision coming through from Mosca, as Mosca looking to potentially take this gold mine back for himself. Mining this gold mine out first. Town center gets denied. Magic pulling back. He's got a lot of units in queue here. As in comes the Vortex. Where is he going? Up onto this side. Wants to take a little bit of an advantage here, but immediately Mosca says, give me this town center. And if he secures this and sets his trade route up onto this side, I think that's probably the better deal than going for this left side. He does delete those markets for the time being. comes the catapult to try and take out the fortified town center. And Magic just a little bit too far behind here, it looks like. Still trying to get himself the units out. Losing this town center means not enough population to really take a significant fight. He will drop down to 185. Citizen falling as well. No farms to be getting grabbed. Another Center Manus on the way. Another engagement with a Vortex isn't really an option either while building those units. And potentially one last ditch effort for Magic to take a fight. He's losing Manus as well. 94 citizens to 85 villagers. It's close where that's concerned. And the market's getting set up on the corner here for Mosca. He's also getting himself his coinage tech. There goes the big Center Manus, sending everyone back here as the Contarius trying to get through on top of the Slingers. Dryads tanking it up as the Center Manus are going to be the answer for those Spearmen, but there's just too much army now for Mosca. He's at 270 population, and Mosca holds on. And did I not tell you that these games are going to be the tightest of margins? This was definitely winnable from Magic. He got this big lead here into a potential gold staff and went full send instead of sitting back on the gold palace map control and continuing the chaos. The chaos was what was working for him. Pushing underneath this position non-stop was not, and that's where he fell behind as well. Consistently trying to make that value there is just not the play. And I think I have to leave this game for the second time with a big question mark. If your opponent goes for Ptah and Sekhmet and you choose Thea, I don't know what's going on. I need Satyr versus this. Satyr are the hard unit to deal with for set. And Chaos as well for that for that to be said too. But a well-played game from Mosca. He has yet again got away with it with his set. Let's jump back into the drafting menu and see what's going to happen. Alrighty. Looks like we are going to be seeing Budapest next. And this time it will be a Zeus versus Frere matchup. I mean, I think the other thing here is Magic went for that early fight. I said it in the game as well. You want to wait. You want to wait for 175 pop if you're playing one town center there versus the Egyptian, because the Egyptian army is just, you see it every time there was a full pop fight. It's a big advantage for the Uranus. But Magic's first push, he went at like 140 pop or something, and he almost won it. So imagine if he just had a little bit more patience on that push. But anyways. All right. So our next matchup for the day is Zeus versus Frere on Budapest. Zeus versus Frere on Budapest. I don't think I've seen this one. A lot of players have been playing a lot of players have been playing like Hades. Seen Kronos here. Maybe we even see Demeter here. Mosca has been really loving the Zeus on this map. And I do think Zeus is very scary on this map because you get the big food boost, which allows you to afford the Hydra. Only issue is a big bronze push is simply met with Ghoul and Bursty Tempest. So you got to be careful where that's concerned. So I do wonder if an idea of just having ceasefire in the back of your hand in this matchup might be the better way for Mosca to approach it. So you forego the Athena such that you have ceasefire to deal with Tempest, which then allows you to basically take Tempest, Ghoul, and Bursty off the table. But you also will have no bronze because you can't click that. So you're playing without god powers, which might make some sense. That being said, Restoration Bronze is such a staple for the Zeus players in this day and age that it's tough to say no to it. Nonetheless, guys, it is time for Budapest. It's time for Zeus versus Frere. Let's jump into it. And off we go. Right side of the map, the Zeus of Mosca. Left side of the map, the Frere of Magic. Mosca opens up kind of nice here. Nicely, I should say, to Magic. He goes Doc on the left and a Doc at home. Now, we have been seeing a lot of great players going forward Doc on both sides, which you can't really compete with as Frere. You can see that the wood just isn't there. The fishing ships will come out first for the Zeus, and you can claim the majority of fishing ships. But in this case, well, now Magic, he can wander over onto this side and grab this fish if he wants to, but it is a risk. He's come back into his main base, and I think he just wants to get the safety fish first, and it doesn't really matter. He can look to put pressure on and do all the good stuff where that's concerned. All right, let's take a little look-see at the relics and see if there's going to be anything of importance. Bridle of Pegasus, literally always nice, especially if you're playing as Norse, because you're going to have that Pegasus to just see what your opponent's doing, where you normally struggle for line of sight, especially with Frere. Over onto this side, Pygmalion Statue, another huge relic actually for Magic. Definitely want to pick that one up. Over onto this side, Scales of a Catoplopas. For that damage vulnerability to pierce minus 15%. Can kind of make Dodie even worse than they already are. Shout out to Soup. Up onto this side, we have the Hecate's Torch. This one could be really nice actually for Mosca. Yes, you probably want to build Hydra, but once you get to full population, and here's where Zeus gets really scary. And one of the reasons why the Athena, Dionysus, Hera on this map in the late game is so scary. You can get to 235 pop of fully upgraded Hydra or Minotaur, maybe even also adding in Medusa, and then also get the favor for another restoration or another bronze. Well, all of a sudden, you've got an unkillable army that doesn't care about anything and can just push right through everything and just kill it. That's going to be something that Mosca is going to be aiming for. Where I think a lot of players would go, oh, Frere just wins the late game. I don't think that's true with the right approach from Zeus, especially mixing in things like Myrmidon, mixing in things like Toxotes and Peltast, and also potentially some other types of like a Paspist and Hippias as well could be units that are worth building there. But whether or not this game goes hyper late game or not, time will tell. As the dot comes down from Mosca, he's going to be claiming this bottom side as well, as it ends up being a very, very shared food situation on the left side. A shared fish situation on the left side, but Mosca is getting the entirety of this right position, and I think that Magic, he has to look for basically some early pressure to win the top fish for himself. I think that's what he's going to be going for. We will be seeing Ulla. No surprises there. On the side of Mosca, he's now only just getting his temple up, but his food is coming through. A really, really nice build, as you would expect from Mosca. He is one of the best. A little bit late on the temple, actually. And in comes the Hermes. No, I called it right. You non-believers. You non-believers. You naysayers. I don't know if anyone said that or not. I didn't look at the chat, but I do like the idea of Hermes in this matchup. 1, center are good here. 2, Hippias angles as well start to open up because throw and axemen are a bit of an issue. 3, ceasefire for Gullimbursty, ceasefire for Tempest. Takes away a lot of the potential security that Frere has. But Ulla is in, and we'll see what Magic is going to do as a response to all of this. Because this is probably a very different Zeus than he's ever seen before. Not really. I mean, we have seen things like Hoplite Center on land maps against Greek since, I think, the early 2020s, if not even before then. As we will see over onto this side, Magic actually decides to attack the bottom fish rather than the top fish. Sending his Draugr in. We do see Longhouse, Temple for Hersa into the main base. It's going to be Military Academy from Mosca as the Centaur and the Jason will be making their way over. A little bit of a risk there from Magic. I don't like the idea of just throwing away this Draugr to a Jason. And of course, the Jason is going to be coming through, but Magic with the Sixth Sense, he does pull back, staying away. There comes the Jason, and he will have to start his run. Of course, the longboat can pick this up. Little known fact, 5 units can come into this. So if he really wants to keep it alive, he absolutely can. Now I got the Dreki coming through from Magic. Juggernaut, a little bit of harassment over onto that side. And where to next? And it will be Hoplite Center for Mosca. This is a scary comp without question. You want Throwing Axemen to kill off the Hoplites. You want Hersa to kill off the Centaur. You want Goaty that you don't have access to. What's the actual answer? Well, the actual answer, as far as I'm concerned, is Draugr. You need to be building Draugr here as Frere. But will Magic know that? Is the big question. Both the heroes are out. You have to be careful with it. He's going to look to charge forward and take this fight, but 2 Centaur, a little bit too scary for him as the Hersa charge after them. Hoplite's going to need to clip those Hersa as well. Nice collapse there as he does get in, and you cannot beat the Centaur here with Berserks. You don't have Odin. You don't have the speedy Hamask Berserks. In comes the fight yet again. Hersa trying to get through. Hoplite control from Mosca. Incredibly strong there. And Magic just not able to do much here as this Draugr getting very luckily kept alive. Like I said, now he's got some favor. It is time to get those Draugr out. Draugr can hit from range. You can play behind walls. The one thing you don't want to do is over-fight here. You want to stay behind walls. If you go and over-fight, then yes, the Heracles will be an issue. Magic looking to come up to the top side, potentially looking for a Asgardian hill fort. Does drop that down. Does Mosca have any idea where this might be? Doc getting taken down on the bottom side. Up to the top side, Magic not looking to finish the hill fort up. I don't think he can hold the position if this gets scouted. Throwing Axeman sitting on this position as well is very, very scary. The Draugr here will end up getting sniped as Magic just isn't paying attention here. trying to keep his throwing axeman alive, pulling them down. In comes the Ghoul and Bursty. And of course, Mosca should know that he does not need to drop Ceasefire. He could, and then he can just get the favor in for another Ceasefire later to deal with Tempest. But that is exactly what Mosca wants to see. Pull back into his main base, sit back, relax, enjoy. That being said, Magic has now claimed the dock on the top, with the fish on the top. Does have his upgrades. The fishing ships will come through. And we do enter a somewhat equal mid-game here, guys. Hoplite raids are going to be difficult. They come in, pick off some buildings, you run over, try and deal with it. They go elsewhere, etc., etc. The food and gold situation, however, for Mosca looking like a heroic age, as A-Gear has already been clicked up from Magic. Now, Magic is probably going to be thinking to go into Goaty here as a marker gets dropped down. House is getting cleaned up as Mosca just wants every little bit of advantage. Incredibly respectful here, actually, from Mosca to pull back there. Now, of course, the Throwing Axemen are in hot pursuit, but they are no issues to deal with. And now we see the walls coming up all across the map. You need to do this, but this isn't safe. You can't feel like you're safe here because not only this is not what... You can just build a transport ship, right? Or jump into the longboat, send the units around, and you've got side builds happening. Meanwhile, Town Center on the way from Mosca. Of course, I say this every single time, but Frere doesn't really care about being slightly behind on villages because you catch up so hard when you get to the heroic age, when you get to the mythic age. So it is important though for Magic to actually get this town center. But a dock again up from Magic onto the bottom side. We will see an attempt from Mosca to get himself his own dock up here, but maybe the siege ship's going to be enough. I don't know. Town center now up. Dionysus is in. As the army says, time to charge forward. Magic pulling off this position says, okay, we'll take the fight. There goes the Tempest. There goes the Bronze. That's not really the interaction, I think, that Mosca was wanting. Mosca pulls back here. Centaur trying to turn, trying to get the damage. Where's the ceasefire? You don't want to ceasefire your own Bronze, but there's going to be a huge amount of value here. That was not what I was expecting to see. I thought, force the Tempest, click ceasefire, then push back later. Magic gets a pretty decent fight there as his town center will be finishing up, and he can simply put just garrison. Bolt gets dropped onto a crack and onto the bottom side of the map there as Mosca will pull back yet again. Magic still needs to be careful here. He still hasn't got himself out any Goaty or any heroes for that matter, and I almost guarantee here that Mosca is simply just going to continue his myth unit building ways until Magic decides to do anything else. There are the Rock Giants, but you know what beats Rock Giant real hard? A 30 or 20 hack damage per second, 12 crush damage per second, 2x bonus from the Hydra with potential more heads to come. That will take down that Rock Giant, which only has got itself 40% crush armor very, very fast. Meanwhile, Fortress attempting to come through here as we do see the raids down onto the bottom, but there is nothing there. Magic is very safe on the left side of the map. Into the main base comes the Hippias. And Magic doesn't have anything back here just yet to deal with this. The big mobility advantage in this game is actually Mosca's. Hoplites pulling back over onto this side. There goes the fortress from Mosca. In comes Thracian horses. In comes heavy cavalry. In comes Dionysia from Mosca. His army is going to get more and more powerful. Another option here, and I haven't seen anyone really trying this, but once you do get to 190 pop, you can put 30 villages on favor. Your favor will start to skyrocket. Then you can rush up for another Bronze. Couple more longhouses coming in. Berserk's looking to come down to the bottom side. They are in The Centaur are in hot pursuit. These are not going to find a huge amount of value. Onto the top side. There goes the Rock Giant. Taunts. But the problem here is Magic does need to get himself some counter cavalry units out. He's going for some Herdmen. They are going to be a nice help. Berserks over onto this bottom side. They are going to be going down. Berserks do not beat Centaur. Centaur do beat Berserk. Now the Hydra's up to 3 heads here. Very scary unit after that fight. Lots and lots of throwing axemen in for Magic. They actually don't beat Hippias very well anymore. They used to be pretty decent versus Cav, but now they've been changed to be a little bit more of a counter unit, a little bit less of a generalist archer unit. And the Hippias, especially with Thracian Horses and Spirited Charge, are going to be incredibly effective here as the Petropoli will start sieging down this position. Lots of upgrades on the way for Magic. Is going to grab the town center onto the bottom side, trying to shift the battle around as the Bergrizi in, going to be able to eat a little bit. Still not a single goatee here. Still not a single goatee from Magic. And Hera is pre-queued. Mosca is going to be getting there momentarily. Temple is taken down as the Bergrizi does manage to taunt in those Centaur. That's got to feel good. He's going to at least be able to pick off one. But now the Hippias have free reign to charge forward. It's about 20 seconds to get that taunt up as in comes Berserk, still trying to finish off this settlement over here. There is the settlement on the back going up for Magic to boot here, but Hera is on the way, and that's going to erase this army of throwing axemen. 9 seconds remaining on the town center. More Herdmen trying to get over here as the Hippias charge forward. Town center for Magic does finish up as the heroes going to take out the Bergrizi here. In comes the hoplites and all the other good stuff, but can Mosca actually, and should Mosca actually continue to push here? I think he can. He's got a big advantage, a huge queue. He's got Mythic Age coming through, and the town center that Magic has just put up, that's going to go down. And the problem is, there's no way to escape with these throwing axemen either. At the very least, the town center on the back is 90 seconds remaining. Lots of gold in the bank here for Magic. Buying food is technically an option here. He wants to get to the next age. But all of the throwing axemen get cleaned up, and Mosca is in a definitively dominating position right now. In comes the longhouses and all the other good stuff. Is now we are going to see a little bit of an adaptation from Magic. He says, time for Jarls. The big problem is that Hera is coming. Yes, Vidar is on the way as well, but Hera is coming. And with Hera means you basically are going to lose at least half of your army here. And Magic's eco, that's fallen behind. It's 69 vills to 55 vills at the moment. Main base under attack too, as, well, Mosca could also drop the Lightning Storm down in the main base and go for the town center to deny Vidar here. As this Hydra looking incredibly scary. And there goes the Lightning Storm, and Magic, well, he's going to garrison everything he possibly can here. Does manage to stay alive for a lot of this. A bit of a lackluster Lightning Storm, but Magic has fallen down to 117 population. Town center under attack here as well. And Magic needs a lot of units to try and keep himself alive. 3 HP in a dream on this 12 kill, 3,000, nearly 4,000 HP Hydra. Are you kidding me? Mosca now has the town center. More walls are up. This town center does finish as well as the Petropoli will get taken down. That'll stop the pushing power, but also Mosca now brings in one of the scariest heroes in the game, the Bellerophon. As the Petropolis back in here, Vidar will pop, but I don't even know how Magic gets a value, like a value Inferno here. He's going to want to use it straight away, but Unhersa comes through and pick off potentially some of these center. There's no units out for the moment, really, for Mosca. He's just sitting back, getting upgrades, taking the map control, enjoying life. Slowly going to be building stuff forward here. Now we've got the Servants of Glory, Champion Infantry, Twilight Gods, Fury of the Fallen. Every single upgrade under the sun for Magic, but he needs more than just those upgrades. And they take a long time. Not only do they take a long time, but he's only got 5 longhouses, which means 1, 2, 3, 4 longhouses are not building units at the moment. In comes the Inferno onto the back. It's just not a god power that you can use when you're on the defensive. Heliopolis going to finish off the Magic Town Center. And I think Mosca, not only is he too far in front, but I also think he's got a bit of an advantage in terms of this late game route that he's chosen to. And Magic taps out for the second game as Mosca is looking incredibly strong for the moment. This Zeus, this idea, the prep here from Mosca. He knows Magic wants to play Frere on this map. I've said it a couple of times, maybe behind the scenes, but I do think if you're going to pick a water map, you want to make sure you've got a flex pick. You want to make sure, because picking one god on a water map is incredibly easy to prepare for. And Mosca, I think he has done his prep in pretty much every single one of these Budapest matches. He seems incredibly switched on to what his opponent is doing, adapts, and comes at them with something, incredibly powerful. So, well, that's game 2 in the books. Mosca, 1 win from the finals here. Magic was down 0-2 yesterday as well, though. He woke up in game 3. Can he do the same in the semifinals? Let's see. Let's jump back to the draft. And here comes the Thunder. One of what a lot of Poseidon players, Poseidon mains like to say, is one of the hardest matchups for Poseidon. Magic gets what he wants here. He gets Gaia versus Poseidon. He gets Gaia Poseidon. Why is this matchup hard? Well, the idea of playing Hermes, Hippias, Centaur, and things like that just simply does not bode well for the Poseidon player. That being said, I see Young Oath in the chat. I see Recon saying it. This is an Ares angle every single time. Do not go Hermes in this matchup. That being said, even though you do pick what I would consider the correct minor god, it's still not easy. 2 gold mine Ghost Slate becomes probably a little bit more simple for the Poseidon. You definitely want to play into a 2 town center game. With Ares, potentially Hippaspis coming out, you also do want to build those Hippias. And you know what? I like the idea of surprise Cyclops. You can catch Magic out. Magic has really shown a big... How do I say this? That's not right. Magic has shown that he does not value the myth unit. He hasn't been building them. He hasn't been playing for favor. He has barely been building the heroes to try and deal with myth units to boot. Didn't build any Goaty last game. Didn't build any Hersa. Just try to make a human unit work. And I tell ya, Myth unit, kill human unit. You've got to make the heroes. You've got to make the adaptation. We'll see what Magic is going to come up with in this game. Now, Gaia doesn't really need to build myth unit versus Poseidon. You do need to build heroes. And you have to be very aware of what the Poseidon player is going to be doing if this does end up going the Ares angle. Now, I'm building it up. Mosca is the king of Poseidon. There isn't a better Poseidon player in this qualifier, in this playoff, as far as I'm concerned. He might say that Hermes is the better play, but just play a very different style of Hermes as well. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. But I think Magic, he's played a lot of Gaia. He's very in tune with this god. It's very, very simple. Very powerful as well. A lot of people have been banning it, picking it first. That being said, I have been seeing a lot of players actually losing. Actually losing with Gaia. So we'll see how it's going to go. Let's jump into game number 3. Magic back against the wall here. It is Ghost Lake. Let's check it out. And off we go. Right side of the map, Magic. Left side of the map, Mosca. The map is Ghost Lake. Check out the relics and see what they're going to have to say for themselves. Tearfing Angantir's sword, lifesteal from units plus 10%. Next relic over onto this side, Hummingbird's beak, infantry damage bonus against infantry, plus 10%. This is a really, really nice relic here for either player to pick up, I think, in this matchup. Another relic over here, we've got the Osberg wagon. The game might go there, and this can actually give probably, I would say, an advantage to whichever player picks this up. Both Poseidon and Gaia get boosted trade gather rates, right? So Mosca with Poseidon doesn't really have to do anything. He gets an extra 0.1 speed per age. So in the mythic age, he's going to get 0.4 extra speed on his caravans. And of course, Gaia on the Lush with channels gets that extra 15% bonus move speed. So they both got a crazy amount of gold income when that happens. And you grab Osberg Wagon to boot, plus 10% movement speed. That will be plus 25% for Magic if he wants to grab that. And of course, the caravan food cost going down as well. Finally, Anvil for Hephaestus, of course, must grab. Very, very nice. Gold research cost minus 50% on all of the armory upgrades is significant. Now, we are seeing Mosca go in Hermes. Well, I was building it up, but this is a 1 gold mine Ghost Lake. Maybe if it was 2 gold mine Ghost Lake, it might have been a different story. Mosca sees the town centers as well. Let's see what Mosca actually sees. He sees over onto this side. Hasn't been too happy with what he sees here. Over onto this side does have a back hunt. It's got a gold mine. It's got a gold mine. It's got a gold mine. But Mosca wants to apply the pressure. Now, I do like this situation for Magic. Magic puts the walls up over onto this side. He's getting prepped. He's got the Gaia Forest over here locking his base up nicely. And we will see if Mosca has got a good plan here. Now, one of the oldest plans in the book here for Poseidon is light pressure into a town center. Because it means that your opponent is going to overcommit to a defense, and you will not be able to then walk forward and punish that town center. So long as it is well executed, build order is perfect, you're going to be fine. As the center comes in onto this side, and let the laming begin. What did this board do to you? Little bit of early game harassment here in the shape of now your villagers are really needing to do something. Of course, these villagers almost don't care that they're getting attacked here because they're just getting HP back. And in comes military barracks onto this side. Of course, the Caladria can simply heal everyone up. A mana will pop up from magic onto the front. And relics most likely are going to start getting claimed here. As we can see... Whoa. That's a sentry tower looking for watchtowers literally immediately here from Mosca. I don't know if I fully understand it. What is Mosca's plan? Is it a fast heroic here? That's got to be his plan. Fast heroic, get to Hypaspist. Mosca, he plays a different game to everyone else. He plays a different game to you. He plays a different game to me. This guy knows the Greeks inside and out. And I think, well, I think this might simply just become one of the new metas for the Poseidon players versus Gaia. And all of a sudden, Mosca is going to, well, Poseidon players are going to start saying, hey, this matchup's really, really easy. We'll see, though. We'll see, though. This is a very, very interesting play. Magic, with real good control, can probably get a gold staff here. Even with the Hypaspist, even with Peltast in the mix. But so far, Mosca has proved that he has the micro advantage in these games. Mosca Armory coming up onto the back, not even going for a market here, as the Murmillo will charge forward. The Caladria flying out onto the back will get healed up, no problems, as this is the sign of a high-level Age of Mythology player right here. Run into your opponent's base with the relic in hand. You have to ask the question. I tell you what they should have done. They should have said any unit that picks up a relic can no longer fight. Because the relic's so heavy, how is he supposed to swing the sword and hold the relic? That way the pro players would have to take the relic back home. It's just so funny. Anyways, Dionysus not even going for Aphrodite here, which is another surprise. But Dionysus on the way, military academies getting dropped down, and Magic, well, he is going into his Murmillo spammage here. He does drop the relic, but he's still holding on to it. You can't just walk in and steal it if he's swinging. Do you know what I mean? Like, if he comes in and he swings at a villager, he drops the relic, but then he picks it up immediately. Town center coming up for Magic. Well, we could call this a chemo town center. Not really a whole lot over here. Don't know if I like that town center all too much. We'll see how it's going to go. Very, very late. I think if Magic was maybe a little bit more aware of what Mosca was doing and went for this town center near immediately, a couple units into a town center, for example, well, this heroic age would feel a lot less scary. The issue here is, though, Magic has not moved outside of his base, has been mining this gold mine down. He could have been sitting over here. He could have been sitting over here with a mana and getting himself gold, leaving this gold mine alive, and then when a bronze push comes to push him off the gold mine, he's already spread the lush, can simply run the citizens back home, sit in his main base, bronze finishes, and he's fine in those positions. As the Caladria comes over, we'll spot the villagers on the Aurochs, and immediately a very, very fast Hippolyta here from Mosca. Kind of interesting. Normally you don't see that. The ranged hero is important, but it's not live or die. As behind this now, Magic He wants a heroic age. As the Murmillo charging forward, you can see the resources slowly starting to tick up. He gets himself medium infantry first, though. It's a little bit of a fight to happen. But of course, there's going to be a pacifist. You can't keep building Murmillo. Pyro Ballast are an option here, though, from Magic if he wants. But Mosca needs to be patient here as well. He's technically on a timer as the Caladria Pacify comes through. Can he take out the center? Got to be careful on this fight because you can't drop Carnivora on top of the Lush. And there goes the Hippolyta. And that's why he went for it. He wants to just get that Caladria out of there. 20 range, decent speed, and a sniper. Simply put, just doesn't miss. As the Murmillo hero sacrificing its life to distract the units away. We will see Thea coming through as these villagers on this side will need to pull back. Magic has not gotten himself the channels upgrade, so his citizens are very, very slow. But he's got plenty of herdables in the main base as he's got himself that husbandry in, so he will get a lot of food in for the time being. The only issue here is, well, Mosca, he's got himself the option of going into Prodromus here as well. He could go Hoplites, he could go Prodromus, but this is going to be the Contarius angle from Magic here. Contarius will be able to beat those Pacifist. Mosca is taking just a little bit of value here. It's fine for Magic. He does have the villager edge. He's got villagers all over the place as well. Love this. 2 villagers on each gold mine with a mana. Yes, it's dangerous to some degree, but it's not that big of a deal. As Watchtowers comes in, and we will see where to next. As in comes the Hesperid's tree. That Poseidon Secret coming in really quickly. It's not an issue with going for it and researching it, but you don't want to wait. You don't want to try and get max value out of that. Just let it come in, build the Contarius right away, because you want to spend those resources. Up to the top side, the citizens do get caught out up here. We will see an attempt at a raid over onto this side. Mosca's walling is, as always, impeccable. And he will put up the walls behind this. And a Murmillo or two will pop... Oh, not a Murmillo. A Militia or two will pop in here. So has to take those down as the house wall behind it does come in. Heavy infantry finishes up here. As the center finally goes down. Funnily enough, not to heroes. But a couple of units going to get picked off over here as Magic sneaks off into the corner of the map. We've got the Pegasus onto this side. Has Mosca spotted this? Yes. Ooh. I don't think he has. It does show the Lush for us as the spectator, but he hasn't seen the mana. I don't think he scouted that. Up onto this side. Suicidal Murmillos. He wants the villager kills. Remember, it's 2 TC versus 1 TC. So a couple of villager picks here goes a really, really long way, but he doesn't get them. He doesn't get them at all. And losing the Murmillos for nothing? I mean, that's not what you want. House going down. Contarius are now out. They're going to be looking for any amount of value. Magic needs to just distract for the next, I would say 2-ish minutes. 2 to 3 minutes. And he's just going to have a full population army. Very, very strong. And Mosca is just falling further and further behind. The Pegasus does spot the gold villagers over here. The gold mine in the main base, still 500, 600 gold remaining. In come the units to distract off of this gold mine, push these citizens away. Do we still not have channels? Still no channels from Magic. Still sitting only on 3 oracles as well as Magic decides time to turn around. He does have himself that Lance of Stone, so retreating away from the Contarius is literally impossible. Also, Magic's got to be careful here. He doesn't have the speed advantage. It's speed tied for the moment. He will try to sneak out of here as Mosca cornering him, and it looks like Magic going to be losing a couple more Contarius here, but also giving that Hydra a lot more value as well. But again, this is just distraction action up onto this side. Mosca getting caught out now. Stevalian Bird on the top. That's scary. Lots and lots of Dryads. Also scary. And Mosca hasn't really adapted here to the Contarius flood. But Magic still needs a little bit more population to really be winning fights here. Lots of wood in the bank. Gold in the bank. Palace coming up onto this side. As the citizen's going to be pulling away. You can pull over onto this if he wants. We do have the citizens here too, so they can sneak back onto this gold mine if need be. Magic's home gold mine. 150 gold remaining. Mosca. He is min-maxing on the vision here. Mana does come back up as the citizens sneaked in here, immediately spotting that. And Mosca is literally just looking for the all-in with bronze. The only issue here is, as 2 citizens will go down, it's not a big issue for Magic. The only issue here is that Magic will see a bronze attack onto this gold mine and then simply just walk this way. He needs to probably send some catapulties off to the right here and actually deal with this to open up this position. Another Palace coming up on the back there from Magic as he's charging forward. Happy to take this fight because he's got those catapulties in here. Does Magic have the all-important weightless mace? Yes, he does. Look at how fast these guys are moving. 5 speed. You can heroize them as well. Mosca behind this. Now looking to push. And we will see another mana coming up. Units charging forward. There's double Palace here. Magic is caught out here. He's not in a very good spot. But then again, I don't think that Mosca can really engage this. He's charging forward. He wants to. Maybe he can engage this, but Magic can just run. And he will have the speed walking to get away from here as the villagers onto this. Another Palace coming up from Magic. Every Palace in the world to hold this position. But I tell you, he kind of just needs to heroize his units. Another mana coming down as the Stefalian Bird does get sniped there. The citizens will need to pull off of this as up onto this side will come a Palace, but you do need to send catapulties there. Mosca is that guy who's got the prep in. He knows what's going to happen here. Hippias trying to check things out. They spot the Palace immediately as the army charges forward. Bronze must be needed. And immediately behind this comes the run, the retreat from Magic. He can run through his Palace. No problems here. But even with the 2 Palace, you almost don't want to fight this. But a beautiful choke point from Magic as the units are coming in onto both sides. He can just garrison here if he wants. Going to be pulling off of the Gaia Lush here. Still trying to delay and make things happen. Back up onto this side. Another Palace attempting to come through as the Hippias into the main base. They're coming in. Magic pulls back over onto this side. Still no answer for that incredibly powerful Hydra here. No gold for the moment right now from Magic as he sends the citizens back up for another Palace. And the bronze, well, that finishes up. And Magic so far in front on economy here. He's going to put up another Palace and he can sell just a little bit. Behind this though, Mosca says, time for 3 town centers. The citizens up onto this side. Well, they might get taken down. A Carnivora will get dropped. There is 1 heavy catapulti. So a couple of units are going to go down. A couple of citizens get picked off. Again, this isn't the biggest of deals. Such a big villager lead, but it's going to be eviscerated incredibly quickly with 3 town centers up momentarily. Magic does need to get that scout on to see exactly what's going on because, well, it looks like he wants a Mythic Age. That is fair enough too. There is also a ceasefire available for Mosca, so even if you get any sort of advantage going, it's going to be difficult. Now up onto this top side, Magic might look to grab the town center. He's going up through Atlas. He wants himself the implode. 160 pop to 168 pop. I do think this is the right call from Magic. He's defended his gold. We will see the Hippias coming in over onto the left side. He's defended his gold mine. He can look to grab the town center. Ontario's charging up to the top. There's a fortress here. Hippias coming over to potentially take out the town center and get some raids onto this side as the infantry from Magic not here. And a great attack onto this side as the citizens going to try and garrison in and out. There's no masons or anything like that as the citizens will bail into the town center, out of the town center. Catapulties coming through. And it looks like, I think Magic will keep this alive as the Hippias most likely need to pull back. Again, like I keep saying this, 1 or 2 citizens dying here isn't the end of the world. As the granary gets cleaned up there, Magic looking for value, but just not able to get a whole lot of it as the ghost building does come through. This is the damage that that Magic really wants here. Can he prevent these guys from getting... Does he still not have himself channels? I'm so upset. I am so upset. Where's the channels upgrade? Up onto the top right gold mine as well here. Hephaestus, however, on the way for Mosca. Mosca is so crazy good with these Greeks that he's been able to cause so much idle time on Magic that he's actually been able to... He's not exactly caught up in terms of timings, but he will be caught up in terms of timings if Magic doesn't act really, really quickly. Villagers up onto this side. Nice attempt at the dukage there, but that's not going to be working out for him as a fortress is going to come up onto this side. Magic does notice that. He can get some nice damage done before the fortress is finished. Of course, there is that ceasefire still available. Remember, the Hephaestus comes in. Full iron comes through. Units coming through here as well. Hoplites. Scary stuff there as the village is going to try and repair this up. Of course, there will be the militia to pop out after all is said and done. As the raids are going to continue diving around the map. The speed advantage, 6.3. About to move for 6.4. There is an Argus here to help out. As Magic says, happy to take this fight. You don't have a whole lot of heroes here. Champion Catapulties coming in. Magic being incredibly patient with the implode as well. But not taking out the town center. Forces the units away. Sending himself back over onto this position to take the town center out. And Magic, he also says, I don't want to sit on this 100 villages and not continue to increase my economy. Up to the next level of economy with a trade route started. Remember, he does have that relic as well. Oseberg wagon. So his caravans are going to be really, really strong. Town center goes down up onto this side. Now we have fanatics to try and take out the fortress, going after villagers. Hephaestus now in. Plentyvault gets dropped literally immediately. And the Forge of Olympus, Polyphemus, power units, power plays coming through here very, very fast. Mosca with walls up onto this side as the citizens on the left side will be wanting to come through and claim this gold mine. Of course, there's plenty of gold on the right side there for Magic to grab. But if you can get any advantage here on the gold, he's going to have a great time. The heavier Paspis on this side, though, this is what you want to be looking to implode. You'd have to imagine. As in come the Paspist. Still not going to be dropping that implode as half the units aren't there. To some degree, you just have to say, hey, it's fine. As the Polyphemus just says good night to those Dryads. This Hydra has been so instrumental here in this game. There goes the implode. Villager's going to pull away. Nice awareness from Mosca, but there's 2 fortresses here. The Hippias coming back, still getting chased by Catapulties. There's some Pacifists coming into the fight to level the playing field. Implode hits. Ceasefire gets clicked. And Mosca is going to be at full iron on 2 town centers, mind you. With full iron. And, well, that might just be enough here. Magic going to sit on this position. Armory situation for Magic. He's about to get 2 iron weapons as well. It does take a little bit longer. Going to be taking the fight literally underneath 3 defensive buildings, though. This might be exactly what Mosca wants, though. He's just hit his full iron timing. Magic will be able to take out the town center, but we've seen this before. Magic going full send on a position to take the town center out and just getting sent back as Magic's population drops down to 160. Meanwhile, a Colossus also onto the Magic Town Center here. Surely we see a hero. One hero? He clicked on it. How do you not build a hero there? I think Magic just hates heroes. He hates heroes. He hates myth units. But he pulled the unit away? I'm so confused. In Mosca comes, cleaning up villages, pushing off this position, looking to take out trade route, looking to take out everything. The town center for Magic is dead. He didn't react to the Colossus here. Arcus now on the way. This might be too little too late for the Arcus transition. As the Hippias continuing to charge around here. Now the Colossus can actually start taking out the citizens on this position. We will see finally some hero fanatics coming through. And he will run over here and take out the Colossus. The town center is going to get... huh? There he goes. I think he's selecting all military. Very, very tough. Mosca, again with that ridiculously strong Polyphemus. The Arcus doing the damage on the back as the Hippias will charge forward. No control from Magic to pull the catapulties back will mean that not only do all the Arcus fall, but so too does the Hippias get a huge amount of lifesteal. Town center back up. Fanatics moving up to the top. Does Magic have his upgrade? Yes, he does. So they are very, very strong. Tyro coming over here to clean up the llama caravans. Fanatics will try and get some sort of a side attack here. The Mosca gold mines, 1400, 1800. Not any trade route started though. We're actually going to deny stone walls as well as the village is going to pull back. Never mind, he does have a trade route. 2 donkey caravans. The citizens making their way up as these Heliopoli will be able to clean up this town center. And Magic, for the first time in this game, has lost the score lead. Not able to win these fights. The Fanatics over here not really doing a whole lot. Magic loses a bunch of citizens. His trade route going to be getting blown to pieces. The Fanatics will come in. They will be able to deal with these Atyroi nicely. You'll have also Toxotes in onto the back there as well. As what can Magic do at the moment but sit and just watch his army failing to break through this. Of course, the real big advantage here in the late game for Gaia is if you go for Hecate in these situations, because then you can get an extra powerful Dryad, you get yourself an extra Hesperid's tree, you get an extra 15 Dryads for free population. You can try and take those fights, but Magic does not have that at all. He's got nothing really left in the tank trying to hold this position, but Mosca comes in a ridiculously hard-fought game, but Mosca manages to hold on, and he takes Magic out in straight sets. An absolute masterclass in Poseidon. I don't even know what to call it. In Poseidon, just everything. He just knows how to play this god. Magic here a little bit hoodwinked on the early game. Pressure into a town center is pretty natural, but this is pressure into a fast heroic. And there just wasn't anything for Magic to do with that, with those units. He still found himself in a good position. He held the bronze push. He did everything right. But in the end, he tried to clean this position up. He lost all the units. He fell behind. What he could have gone for is just take this town center. He cleaned it up. He took this out. He could claim the town center. Then he'd be at 260 population or 270 population, whatever it is. And then it wouldn't matter if Mosca was at full iron. Wouldn't matter that Mosca's in the Mythic Age with Champion Hatyroi. It's just too many units to deal with. But Magic kind of fell for the same old adage here, trying to just charge in and kill off the Mosca. He is a undying beast of a player. We will be seeing him in the finals to match up against either Soup or Grass. That's our next semifinal. Don't you guys go nowhere. We're going to have a short break while we organize the next match. See you guys soon.